Hello, my name is Julie, and I'm going to be rereading one of my favorite books. So, since I started reading a large volume of books, more than 50 books a year, I haven't really reread books as often as I used to when I was, say, in middle school. I thought it was time to return to a story that I have considered my favorite now, and that is Bunny by Mona Awad. I talk about this book all the time. It is a dark academia literary horror about Samantha, who is in a very competitive MFA program, and she feels alienated because all of the other people in her MFA program are these group of girls that are all richer than her, and they are very cliquey and call each other Bunny. This writing style is one of my favorite things, and the visceral feelings that I got from reading this the first time have stuck with me. One of my friends on Instagram is reading this for the first time, so we thought we'd buddy read it together while I annotate this. And I'm just really excited to return to this. I'm a little bit nervous that it won't live up to what I have built it up to be, but I have read more Mona Awad since, and I've loved all those books as well. But this is gonna be a slightly different style of vlog, and you're just gonna see me go about my life and talk a little bit about this book.
We call them bunnies because that is what they call each other. Seriously. Bunny. Example. Hi, Bunny. Hi, Bunny. What did you do last night, Bunny? I hung out with you, Bunny. Remember, Bunny? That's right, Bunny. You hung out with me and it was the best time I ever had. Bunny, I love you. I love you, Bunny. And then they hug each other so hard that I think their chests are going to implode. I would even secretly hope for it from where I sat, stood, leaned in the opposite corner of the lecture hall, department lounge, auditorium, bearing witness to 4 grown women, my academic peers, cooingly strangle each other hello, or goodbye, or just because you're amazing, Bunny. How fiercely they gripped each other's pink and white bodies, forming a hot little circle of such rib-crushing love and understanding it took my breath away. How much did I advent to the end? Probably a lot. Why do you lie so much? And about the weirdest little things, my mother always asked me. I don't know, I always said. But I did know. It was very simple. Because it was a better story. You need to stop. Stop letting your imagination run away with you. Whatever. She said this to me before, all my life. I always nodded, yes, okay, listening, stopping. But I wasn't listening. I wasn't stopping. Because we were already running away again, me and my imagination. We were holding hands on the edge of the cliff by the North Sea. We were high, high up in a redwood tree. We were on a train to Paris. We were blue-lipped in the river trying to swim to India. Or we were just fucking running down a steep and endless hill, she and I, holding hands. She was a great girl-shaped forest. She was a thing on fire. Her hand was leaves and smoke and snow and flesh all at once. We were running away, together down a curving dirt road, through a dipping valley of grass, by a rushing mud-colored river, into an even greater forest, or we were just running who knows where. No idea. Didn't care. But I was excited. My life could change. And I wasn't alone anymore. Today was so wonderful. Probably this is heaven. The night is a waterfall of music and lights. The night is a rabbit hole into which we enter, hand in mesh hand. The night is a dark earth I could dig my hands into forever. The night becomes a pang of literature that I would, at 16, press against my heart. We link arms. We close our eyes the better to feel each other's bodies. We form a hot little circle of love and understanding. We press our faces into our faces, our cheeks against our cheeks, our eyelashes, tickling our skins like little hummingbird wings, like bunny nose twitches. Oh, Bunny, I love you, Bunny. We cannot say how long we have been here, hugging like this, because it is that time of day where we thank each other for breathing. Her sky is full of lightning. Her sun has teeth. She gives all the spoiled Warren girls gills, fangs, wings. She sets the frat boys on fire. While she does this, I stare at New England. Sometimes I write. Sometimes I just stare. So how was rereading my favorite book? It was really fun. Unfortunately, I didn't have as much dedicated time to reading this. I read it pretty spread out throughout the course of a month. So that was a little bit of a different reading experience because when I first read this, I basically read it cover to cover over the course of 48 hours. And not only did my Instagram friend read this, my aunt ended up picking this up based on my recommendation from my Goodreads. And she also loved it. I was really worried because this isn't the sort of thing that she picks up normally. She's more of a literary fiction person, but she ended up really enjoying this and texting me at like 10 o'clock at night in all caps like, OMG, what happened? This wasn't as magical of an experience because I had read it before, and so now I was reading it with more of a critical lens and trying to pick things out almost like as a behind the scenes sort of thing, because there is particularly for one plot point, there is a lot of foreshadowing literally from the first time that this element is mentioned, and a lot of what I was trying to do was figure out why this book worked so well for me. I think part of it is that this was the first horror that I picked up that I really loved. And I also think that I read this at a time in my life where I was struggling like Samantha is, and she was a character that I could really identify with. I was also trying to identify what about the writing style I really liked, because it's hard to pick out quotes from this book specifically, because it'll be more like paragraphs that have a really interesting feeling. And also, since reading this, I went to an event for the launch of All's Well, and I heard Mona Awad read the first chapter. And now, when I was reading this, I could hear Mona Awad's voice narrating it in my head, which was amazing because, like, I've only heard her speak the one time. She has a very specific literary voice, not her literal vocals, but her writing style is very specific, and the way that she performs her own work is very good, and honestly she should narrate her own audiobooks. Mona Awad's writing style is so specific and beautiful and gross at the same time. It's so poetic, and a lot of the thought that you come away with after reading this is how much of this is real. And Samantha herself, I don't think she knows, and Samantha as a character could be directly lying to us, the reader, as well. I really love the themes of loneliness and the struggle to follow your creativity when you are so alone and don't have the privileges of others. She also talks about the romanticization of sadness, some people criticizing people for being depressed and saying that they're just doing it for attention. There's a lot of metaphor in the bunnies and their creations. My friend on Instagram, one of her critiques of this was that the bunnies felt one note. I do understand that critique on a reread, but when reading it the first time, I definitely felt the same atmosphere that Samantha feels, where she's entirely just captured by this cult, essentially. So this definitely has solidified itself as one of my favorite works. It was not as magical of an experience. I was looking at it from a more technical standpoint. I still got a lot out of this reread, and I really enjoyed annotating and picking out the things that I liked. And if my selections from this didn't convince you to read this, then I will plead one more time. I love this book. If Bunny might be too horror, too gross for you, I can recommend Mona Awad's All's Well, which is more on the literary side and is definitely less grotesque. Highly, highly recommend. And I know that she just announced that her fourth book is coming in March of next year, I think. So I'm very excited. Might try to get an arc again like I got of All's Well, so I can leave another glowing 5-star review on NetGalley. Thank you so much for watching this little bit of a different vlog. I have more content coming now that I have time off from school. If you'd like to follow me anywhere, my information is in the description. And as always, I will see you in the next one.